What a surprise, right? No murders in a whole episode. Wow, I haven't had one of those in a while. Welcome to the August Tale. I'm August, and I want to help you find something great to experience. Here on the channel, I review anime visual novels, but for this series, we are going to cover the anime adaptation of Higurashi When They Cry Go. These series of videos will be a review and a reaction to each episode of Higurashi, and during this second half, a future speculation and theory crafting series to solve this new mystery of Higurashi. If you have not watched episode 18 of Higurashi When They Cry, I would highly suggest watching the episode before continuing with the rest of the video. And if you're looking for my specific videos regarding each episode, links are in the description down below. And with that, let's begin. In this episode, we fast forward to a year after the original Higurashi events after Higurashi Kai. Satoko and Rika are older now, Mion has graduated from the Hinamizawa school and is now in high school, and Keiichi is the new class representative and the president of their club. In addition, more members of their class are joining in on the club activities, with Keiichi issuing a new rule to forbid foul play, much to Satoko's frustration. Afterwards, Ire states to both Satoko and Rika that Satoko's Hinamizawa syndrome is now cured, and related to that, the other villagers' condition have been improving over time. And lastly, during this year's Watanagashi festival, the heads of the three families have collectively declared that the damn war days are finally over, and the misunderstandings that have plagued their village are now put to rest here. All of these signs together point towards the village of Hinamizawa moving forward, with the village slowly changing as life moves on. Growing up is just a part of life. People change. People grow up, and people eventually drift away. It might be scary, but it's an inevitable part of life. And it's that uncomfortable anxiety that becomes a hidden focus point for both Satoko and Rika in this episode. Now let's go back a couple of episodes. Rika stated that she wanted to move away from Hinamizawa because she hated that place where she spent an eternity in. But I think that this isn't the sole reason. This episode reframes Rika's desire to move away in an entirely different context. At the end of the original events in Higurashi, the conflict is finally over and Rika is now freed from the seemingly endless loop. While we can consider the fact that she's tired of it all, understandably so, on a more positive note, Rika can stop living in the past and present and look forward towards the future, a future beyond the summer of 1983. For somebody that we've been following for so long now, we have a concrete understanding of what Rika wants. But that's only one perspective on all this. Let's talk about another perspective. Satoko's. Now, while we might have figured out who done it, we still have yet to confirm why done it. In other words, the motive. The initial hints about Satoko getting abandoned by her friends as her motive was already present. A couple of episodes ago, people were furious at Satoko for gaslighting Rika to stay in Hinamizawa, to love the village where she grew up and made memories in. This episode answers that issue. If I think about how the story is going to end up, Higurashi Gou isn't saying that's the resolution. Rika should be allowed to leave. Yes, we should cherish those happy memories, but we should not always dwell in those memories forever. Rika's fine in my opinion. It's Satoko we should be more worried about. It's very minor, but Satoko is still hopefully optimistic and nostalgic. When Keiichi is sad at the fact that Mion can't come over often, Satoko states that she's still very close by. Before the club games, Satoko complains that the cards aren't marked like their usual deck, and plans to drop a bucket of wash bins on him like in the past. Satoko loves those days, but time moves on. And if this continues, eventually she'll be left behind. Satoko will be the one stuck in Hinamizawa this time, not through the curse of looping, but by being trapped in her own precious memories. And as we're going to get to know in the coming episodes, the idea of Satoko getting abandoned is getting stronger more and more. One particular detail I noticed is that this episode shows Satoko's difficulty with memorization along with Rika's thinking about taking the St. Lucia exam. With what we know, this makes me think of a possibility that Satoko might have failed that exam, not allowing them to go to the same school together, which would further compound that feeling of separation from her friends, especially considering Satoko's close relationship with Rika. Moving away from my thoughts about the episode, let's talk about some side details I thought were interesting to note. First, Hanyu is mysteriously gone from the cast in this flashback. At the end of Higurashi Kai, she's seen with the main cast during the Watanagashi festival, so I'm wondering where she went. Second, a nice little detail is Tomitake forgiving Takano of her sins, which is a nice echo of the first poem from Higurashi. And last, and the most ominous one of them all, when Satoko enters the bookstore with Rika, Satoko picks up a 5-minute meal cookbook with a picture of what seems to be miso soup on the cover. This coincidentally looks like the same meal Satoko prepares for Keiichi in the Tatsuri Damashi hen arc. Interesting, don't you think? Maybe it's a coincidence, but if not, that drastically changes how I feel about the Tatsuri Damashi hen arc. Anyway, this is a preliminary episode for what I believe will be the tipping point. All it requires is just one trigger for things to go horribly wrong. And considering it's Higurashi, the fact that nothing went wrong in this episode is terrifyingly scary. So what do you all think of episode 18 of Higurashi Gou? What are your impressions of the new episode, and what are your thoughts on what might happen next? I would love to hear them. And as always, subscribe if you like the video and want to see more. Please check out some of my other videos on the channel and check back every week for new content. If you're interested in my thoughts, you can follow me on Twitter at TheAugustTale. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.